in a growth market that you will never believe. Sam, Ecovative design. Great. Click on this one.
And while I'm speaking, there's a basket that's going to be passed around. It's got a whole bunch of objects in them. I found these at the beach over the weekend. I'm not going to be talking to you about plastic pollution or marine debris, although I think it's a very important issue that is seemingly irreparable and very important. What I want you to do when you get these objects is to just feel the materials. Ignore the shape. Ignore that you're getting a basket with horseshoe crabs and styrofoam in it. Just feel how amazing these materials are. And through this presentation, you'll understand a little bit about why I've passed these materials around. So I want to start with a question. How long did it take to make this piece of styrofoam? Well, if you're in the industry, you might give a smart answer like, it took about 30 seconds to mold this in the machine. That's right. But it doesn't start there. It starts with some of the most expensive, advanced technology ever developed, oil refineries, sucking these finite materials from remote nooks and crannies of our planet. And 2/3 of Americans, according to a recent study, don't know that plastic is made of oil. That's crazy. But really, it doesn't start here at the oil refinery. This piece of styrofoam began its life in the age of the dinosaurs, about 65 million years ago. It's remarkable, and this material is frankly quite incredible. Its performance is astonishing, but it's crazy that it's taken so long to create these materials. So this is a timeline of plastics production. If you can't see it, that's okay. The brown line going most of the way across, that represents the 65 million years, going from ancient algae being compressed under unique geological conditions and eventually extracted and transformed into this piece of packaging. The light blue line I have is dotted because we don't have any great answers as to how long this will exist if it makes its way into nature. Some people say thousands of years, some say millions of years. We haven't seen it really biodegrade because biology hasn't evolved the capacity to handle these new materials. So what's missing here is the use phase, and that's because the use phase is less than 1 pixel on this screen. And that's true whether the plastic is used for a disposable fork for 5 minutes or insulation in your home for 200 years. So clearly, these materials just don't fit into a biological timescale. So it's imperative that we treat them really carefully and use them smartly, or find alternatives that do fit within our biological planet. So it's clear to me that to live sustainably here on planet Earth, it's really important to use sustainable materials. Duh. I think that the concept of waste must be erased. And this is something that's really important. This group is working so hard to make sure that plastics, when they are used responsibly and are recycled and put into other new uses. But it's also important to consider renewable materials, bio-based materials, and materials that fit into what I like to call nature's recycling system, and that's the composting cycle. As Bill says, everything is food for something else. And these materials, these natural materials that have existed on our planet forever, fit into these pre-existing systems really well. Planet Earth can handle them. Luckily, we live on a planet that has a toolkit of 50 million species that all create unique and astonishing biomaterials. And some of these we can responsibly adapt, we can responsibly use to meet human needs. So let's simplify this to the elementary school version. We use plants to make the chairs that we're sitting in. This cotton shirt is made from plants. We use animals to make things like leather. I want to get this interactive. I want all of you animals in the room to feel your hair, feel your skin, feel your fingernails. Seriously, do this. Rub your head. All of that is keratin. It's this amazing biopolymer, and it can take many different forms. So just like over the past 100 years, we've figured out how to take oil and transform it into plastics that can make these soft, beautiful fabrics, strong, rigid structures, lightweight, squishy foams. The same things already exist in nature. But what we're lacking is the ability to grow these materials just as efficiently as our bodies already do. So I want to talk a little bit more about animals. And is that basket going around the room? Nope. I think it may be behind the curtain, if you can pass that around. So in that basket, and you can see this later, is a horseshoe crab that I found. And so why the heck am I passing around a horseshoe crab at this plastics conference? I'm passing it around because this horseshoe crab is made out of my favorite biopolymer. I think it's truly remarkable. It's called chitin. And so these horseshoe crabs lumber along the bottom of the seafloor, collecting whatever molecules, whatever food they can find. They don't need just one feedstock. They don't just need oil. They can take in many different nutrients. And over the course of their lives, they repeatedly manufacture over and over, larger and larger, these protective exoskeletons. And they're really remarkable. Just the strength to weight performance, the fact that parts of it are flexible and articulated, other parts are strong and incredibly rigid. The horseshoe crab, if all the horseshoe crabs teamed up and said, we want to hire the best human engineers with the best resources to manufacture a better horseshoe crab shell. We're going to put $100 million into making better shells. And they got a team of engineers with a big machine shop and all these power tools. I don't think we could make a better horseshoe crab shell. It's just not possible. For a horseshoe crab, this is the best bioplastic creation ever devised. So for humans, I think we can really be inspired by this. And what we need to figure out how to do is how can we be as efficient at growing materials as the horseshoe crab is at growing these shells? How do we make a disposable fork in the same way that a horseshoe crab grows its outer exoskeleton? So we've talked about plants, we've talked about animals. Bacteria are now being used in lots of interesting ways, often in combination with plants, to grow some very cool bioplastics, things like PLA. But there's a forgotten kingdom. And at our company, Ecovative, that's the kingdom that we're looking at. That's fungi. So I've got one word for you. It's mushrooms. Mushrooms are nature's recycling system. They're really key. If it weren't for mushrooms, our forests would be buried 20 feet deep in leaves, lignin and cellulose and woody material that would never biodegrade or take eons to degrade. Fungi are a key part of this nature's recycling system. So at Ecovative, we're not using mushrooms per se. We're using what's called mycelium. And mycelium is analogous to the root structure of fungi. You see it growing in the soil. You see it in wood stumps that are breaking down. And mycelium, this is a scanning electron microscope. Mycelium is made of chitin. So these fungi are taking lignin and cellulose from woody plant material that other organisms can't process, and they're converting it into chitin. And so at Ecovative, we figured out how to harness mycelium to do exactly what it does in nature, but under controlled conditions to grow engineered shapes. And so very simply, we take agricultural waste. This is a bag of loose corn stalks from a local farmer near our facility up the river in Green Island, New York. We grind them to a known particle size. We can engineer the material properties depending on what we put into it. We inoculate it with fungal mycelium, just a tiny amount, and it grows exponentially. So this is a time-lapse video. I'll press go in just a minute, but let me explain what's going on here. In our factory, we've sourced agricultural byproducts. These corn stalks are providing an additional revenue stream to local farmers. We've steam cleaned it and then added just a tiny amount of mycelium. It's microscopic. There's less than 1% in this mix. We put it in our factory at room temperature. It sits in the dark, no light, no watering, no energy input needed. And in about 3 days, it self-assembles. So I'm going to press go. And if you can see this well enough, you'll see it turn white. If you can't see it, you can go to our website and check out a video there. So ready, set, go. And it's exponential growth. So it doesn't look like it's doing anything, and then bam, it just turns white, and it knits itself together, forming mushroom materials. And it grows incredibly quickly. So if you think about it, this took 65 million years in the making. This took about 4 days. It's amazing. So the first product that we've launched about 4 years ago is mushroom packaging. It's Cradle to Cradle Gold certified. We're hoping to be the first to be platinum. And And it's been replacing many, many plastic foam parts for customers at equal performance and equal cost. There's no cost premium for this material. Recently, we've partnered with the Sealed Air Corporation. They're known for bubble wrap. They're the #1 protective packaging company in the U.S. We've built another factory with them in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And we're producing, again, thousands and thousands of plastic foam parts for customers like Steelcase, shipping office furniture, Crate and Barrel, Puma, Dell. Michael Dell ate mushroom packaging on stage a month ago at the Fortune Brainstorm Dream. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm pretty full after lunch. And frankly, it doesn't taste very good, but it won't hurt you. But mushroom packaging is just the beginning. We're doing so much more. We're truly excited about mushroom insulation and growing houses like the Wonder House. And I'm also excited about our new material. We call this Microboard. It's the same material as Microfoam, but compressed. And what we're finding is that we can grow an alternative to engineered wood products, things like medium density fiberboard, MDF, and plywood, but without the formaldehyde resin. So the mycelium, that chitin material, is gluing these particles together. So it's tree-free, formaldehyde-free, and it's lighter. So it actually performs better at a competitive cost. So just like plastics are not one material, mushroom materials are a technology platform. We're just 7 years in. If you look at the first 7 years of petroleum-based plastics, they're mostly pretty brittle and low performance. And I think what we're doing already with mushroom materials is just barely scratching the surface of what's possible. And the kingdom of fungi, while wildly unexplored and exciting, is just one kingdom of many. What we really need is someone to figure out how to grow this into a fork. So before I leave you, I just want to give you a sneak peek at a really exciting project that's being finished literally today in New York City. Every summer at MoMA's PS1 in Long Island City, a young architecture firm enters a competition, wins the honor of building this summer pavilion for their warm-up series. Every Saturday they've got these crazy dance parties there. And there's this architectural pavilion that's the centerpiece of it. The firm that won this year is a firm called The Living. They entered this piece titled Hi-Fi. And they said, in past years, this thing is up for 2 months, and then it all gets landfilled. It's such a shame. We want our pavilion to be just as exciting, just as awesome, but eventually to become food for something else. And so they designed this 40-foot structure out of 10,000 mushroom bricks that our team finished producing this spring. This is just a render because I don't want to give it away. I was there visiting last night. It's astonishing. It's really, really cool. So if you have any free time while you're here in New York, you've got to go over and check out MoMA PS1 in Long Island City. Thanks for your time.
Well, that's very good. Great stuff there. Food for thought and a big growth market. Richard, there's Richard. Richard Madison is our next speaker, and we have been doing some work with Richard. He's the CEO of TrueCost, which is out of the UK.